Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Very happy to be able to sit down with Naomi Brockwell. Big fan of her podcast, big fan of, podcast, your YouTube show, your YouTube channel. You actually got 2 of them, I think.
Yeah, all the things.
All the things. And honestly, just been a big fan since Bitcoin Girl and all the stuff you do. So
thank you very much.
Very
I appreciate
creative,
that.
The very talented Naomi Brockwell. Thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your
Nice
time.
handshake. I like that. Start off with a sturdy handshake. Hi. So
I got to bring you back in after the D-Live thing. I got to make sure you feel
Let's make this professional.
The
Look how kosher this is.
The handshake was firm. Okay, he's a steady, stable individual. It's safe here. Okay, all right. So, you were emceeing on the main stage here for San Francisco Blockchain Week 2019. I guess I shouldn't say San Francisco Blockchain Week. Epicenter 2019 at San Francisco Blockchain Week. How was your week?
It was really good. I actually had a killer week. So I did Litecoin Summit for 2 days in Vegas. Yep. The next day I did World CryptoCon, the EOS Pavilion. Flew here, started here, did interviews all day, and then today emceed all day. So I'm like, oh, I just need to go run a bath, and maybe people could send some crypto to my eyes at a candy machine, and I'll just eat chocolate in the bath. And that sounds like a great way to spend my evening, actually. And then in a couple of days I'm emceeing the CipherTrace conference. So it's about the travel rule, about how crypto exchanges need to comply, what this has to do with privacy coins, all of that kind of stuff. So
yeah, I got to speak with the CEO of OakX today. I got to speak with other people on that issue too about the travel rule and privacy coins. Well, I spoke to Zcoin talking about that privacy.
Oh yeah, they're great. Ruben's great.
Yeah, it was a great conversation. You've been in the space for a long time, just what got you into crypto in the first place? What gave you the Bitcoin bug?
The same reason everyone in those days got into crypto. Today you never know. Before it was a good filtering system. It's like, you're into crypto? Oh, okay, you really don't want the government spying on you and controlling your money and devaluing all of your savings. And these days, I'm not quite sure why a lot of people are into crypto, because some of the things they say seem to be quite antithetical to what I think crypto stands for. But at the same time, I'm glad they're here. I'm just like, all right, whatever brought you here. Let's do it.
More T-shirts to give away.
More T-shirts to give away. I just believe in financial autonomy and really want people to have control over their data, have control over their money. I'm so sick of seeing things like Cyprus, where people will wake up and a large percentage of their bank account is just missing, or Poland, where that happened, or you have hyperinflation. Places like Venezuela, or even the ruble has happened too. In Argentina, they're going through massive hyperinflation. There are so many instances of government-controlled money where it just destroys the lives of everyone in the country. And you got to, after a while, ask yourself, why do we keep supporting this system that we can see is so fragile? You just look at the US dollar, and for the last 100 years it's lost 97% of its value. People would have to be idiots to hold it for another 100 years now that we have other options. So I'm just hoping that the more people in the space, the wider we can get this message out, and maybe we can start to take back control of the monetary system, because right now it's not doing too good.
It's not. What do you think? There's a lot of sentiment right now in America, but it feels like it's been that way for the last for a long time, as long as I can remember. The 2008 financial crisis was it was kind of like we told you so for the gold bugs and the silver bugs. And I've been a libertarian and borderline ANCAP for as long as I can remember.
Why borderline? Just come over to the dark side.
Just the full side?
Join us.
Because every time I say, listen, I'm just going to go full ANCAP and all that, somebody makes a compelling argument that I'm like, okay.
Fair enough.
Let me think about that.
I've only heard compelling arguments on one side. I used to be confused. I think a lot of us are confused. And when you have a day job, you spend your time doing the electricals in someone's house or teaching school, and that's what your life is focused on. So you're relying on sound bites from social media, from mainstream media, and all of that. And the fact is, first of all, there's just so much misinformation out there. Second of all, media has been a mouthpiece for the state for however long, and now we're starting to get back control through the democratization of the media space. Shows like yours just providing great value in introducing people to new ideas that they will never hear on Fox or CNBC or any of these places. But the fact is that the information people have been getting for so long, it doesn't introduce them to any of these ideas. It doesn't teach them about monetary policy. It doesn't show them why central banks have been destroying our savings and devaluing our wealth, and how dangerous it is to have all of that control centralized in the hands of 12 people. And so I think that we need to get to the next stage where people understand this a little better. They know what's going on. They know what their options arguments are, because it's just been the average person, they're going to rely on the people around them to teach them because they don't want to spend all their time studying this stuff. They've got their lives, and so if people like us can help make that journey a little easier by saying, well, look over here that everyone's trying to distract you from, this is actually important, then I think that's a good direction to go in.
Operation Spread the Knowledge, go team.
Yeah.
So, something that I'm keen of saying, and you said a lot there that I agree with, there's a lot of, I'd say a really hot button issue right now that's kind of stepping out of crypto, but if you think about the fundamental of the concept, is right up our alley. Andrew Yang, universal basic income, and that same concept that you touched on. When you have to trade your labor or your time equity for an active wage, then your time, your ability to research on topics, inform your worldview on deeper issues or smaller issues is highly limited. It's my personal opinion that, again, I'm on the fence about UBI or things like that. I've educated myself quite a bit. I just don't know, because you never know. It's kind of like, you don't know how Bitcoin's going to work till it gets out in the ecosystem. But I think the biggest problem that we have right now is centralization of education. Like, there's just not exactly what you were saying. There's not education out there. The education that is good is very, very hard to find. And so anybody out there looking to educate themselves on any topic often finds themselves scam. Oh, okay, this link is actually good information. Like, this is kind of your field. You got any advice for people trying to educate themselves?
Stay away from college. It's a racket. I mean, it's incredibly expensive. Really, like if you're going to spend $100,000 on a degree, you better hope you get $100,000 worth out of it. Yeah. Look at what your job prospects are immediately after graduation. I'm very much interested in income share agreements. Universities like Purdue are looking into those things because that actually teaches people, like, hey, you're going to be paying off X amount for the next amount of years. Like, you're going to pay a higher percentage of your income if you do a degree in English literature. You're going to pay a lower amount for less years if you do a degree in engineering. It teaches people what their job prospects are because that's all baked into the rates that they then have to pay. So I think that sort of education is critical, and students don't get it. Right now we have all these easy credit policies where the government's like, here's the free money and everyone take the money and it's all free.
It's all gonna be good.
And some students don't even realize they have a student loan. I think it's like 20-something% of students don't even realize they have a student loan.
That's non-dischargeable.
That's crazy. People they just think that, I just got a grant. They don't actually know the difference between loans that they have to pay back and grants. So the fact is that you're basically putting this giant debt burden on people when they should be the freest in their life. They have the world at their feet. They should be going and starting business and taking risks, and instead they have like $100,000 in debt they have to pay back. Like, imagine if they didn't go to college and someone just gave them $100,000 and said, hey, take this money, you can invest it in a business, you could go traveling for 6 months, you could put it into savings, you could buy gold. How much better would people be than going to college for some signaling device that doesn't even work anymore because everyone is required to have a degree these days, so it's not even a signaling device. How much better would they be to take that money and putting it into actually growing themselves as a person? And that doesn't even go into the issue that what they're learning at colleges these days is completely brainwashing people. I mean, it's very one-sided. I started out studying economics in college. It was all Keynesian rubbish. I didn't actually understand anything about econ till I moved to America and met some economists, and it was just like, oh wow, these people actually understand what they're talking about. I just started reading books and became self-educated there. But it breaks my heart to see that students think that the journey is, well, I leave school, I must go to college. That's like something that has to happen. I mean, take a step back. Think about whether you want that debt burden in your life, because you can't get rid of it. You can't declare bankruptcy.
It will be there forever.
Like, it follows you around, and I just see too many lives destroyed because of that.
I agree. It's something that affected me personally,
Yeah.
I remember, and I've paid my student loan debt off, but I remember it's anxiety, and it's just there, and it's sitting over you, and you got to deal with it. The thing that annoys me the most about that, and this will change over the next 20 years, is it's not dischargeable. You can't. It will follow you around. It can affect your family members.
Well, if it is dischargeable, that's going to be welfare for the rich, honestly, because a lot of the people who have the highest loans are going to go into fields that are high paying, so they're going to be the lawyers and the doctors. So you're essentially saying, oh, okay, you people with really good incomes, you don't have to pay back this money.
Right.
That money doesn't disappear. Those loans don't disappear. You can't just say, let's just check that off. That's all been paid for. That's paid to the university by someone, and if it's not covered by people, it's covered by the taxpayer.
Yep.
What we need is a fundamental shift in understanding of what we get out of our lives, what our journeys need to be, and get away from this idea that college is this prerequisite everyone has to go to. I mean, at the moment, you look at the number of states where people who go into trades, I mean, there's such a lack of people going into industries, and they make a ton of money. Like a Tyler in New Hampshire right now earns $200K if you're a good one, right? And people don't learn this. They're like, I need to go to college and study English literature so I can
general
never
education.
get a job ever. Study gender studies. It's going to really set me up for a great life. No offense to any gender studies people, but also rethink your choices and look into the areas where you might be able to set yourself up for a better life, like learning a trade. And people dismiss this too easily. And at the end of the day, I mean, an individual's choice is their choice. They could do whatever they want, but what's missing right now is an understanding of what the consequences are. Students don't realize they have to pay back these debts a lot of the time. They don't realize what a burden it is. When I got my first job, I had no understanding of what a normal income was. You know, if someone had said, oh, well, this is going to cost you $100,000 and then you got to pay it back, I'd be like, oh, cool, I'll probably pay it back in a year. I'll be earning a few million a year. Like, I had no conception of what an income looked like, what a base salary was for a film producer or anything. So I think that what's fundamentally missing is that education, and I'm all for people making their own choices, and that's fantastic, and I love the variety and the choices we have in life, but get educated about what the consequences are, because that's super important.
Yeah. Message of personal responsibility.
Absolutely.
I like it. That is, personal responsibility is the new counterculture.
Personal responsibility is the new counterculture. I like that. That's that makes me happy. Yeah.
So I want to be respectful of your time. What's next for Naomi?
I'm emceeing CipherTrace conference, and then what's next? I think the next one, I've got like a big break, and then I'm doing a Narco Pulco, which should be pretty fun. So emceeing the crypto stage there, and then just same old, my channel. So I produce for John Stossel, and then I'm a producer for my own channel as well, and to just talk about mainly privacy and blockchain. So.
You still doing the plug your phone into the Ethernet thing? That was the last video
Absolutely
I watched.
yeah, everyone hates me because you should see my house right now. It's terrible. I called an electrician recently. I'm like, I need you to install Cat 6 cables around my house. He's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, so we're going to set up a switch, and you're going to recommend the best router that has the best firewall protections. And he's just like, we could get like a Wi-Fi one. I'm like, no. Wi-Fi is inherently insecure. If you listen to what Snowden has said about Wi-Fi, did you know that there are global maps of every access point for Wi-Fi? And he's just like, yeah, he's just like, who are you? So right now, I just have like cables all over, like going into bedrooms and going into offices, and it's a nightmare.
That sounds like the studio.
Goddamn. So I'm actually going to get it legit installed. I mean, you know what? I don't want to do a show about privacy if I'm like, hey guys, this is important, you should do it. Also, it's really difficult and inconvenient, and I'm not doing it. You know, I want to do this stuff, and so all the stuff on my channel is stuff that I'm discovering as I go. I have a degree in classical music. Again, children, rethink your life choices with your degrees. You're not going to get a job. So I don't have a background in tech. I'm literally just reading this stuff. Like, I learned about the Wi-Fi stuff because Snowden literally just tweeted out something. I went, Snowden's very smart. I don't understand what he's talking about in this tweet. So I just started researching it, and then I was like, this is actually interesting. Maybe other people would be interested in learning. I just went down this rabbit hole for like 4 nights. I was up till like 4 o'clock in the morning, just like, holy shit, this is great.
Always Sunny in Philadelphia
then I find my Wi-Fi spots, and I'm just like, no. So then I made a video about it, and it like went crazy, and everyone's watching this video. Like, it went viral. And
what's the website website. I went there.
Wiggle.net is one of them.
I went there immediately afterwards.
The thing about Wiggle.net is they're a website designed entirely to highlight that this data is out there and publicly available.
Yeah.
So their whole point is to make people aware of this so they can make active choices to enhance their privacy. And the fact is what Apple and Google have, the data they have, is so much crazier than anything Wiggle.net has. It's like orders of magnitude beyond that. And the fact is that, I mean, you're saying, well, this is a private company, it's not like it's public. It's like, no, all of this is public information that they're just collecting. What's more, they've now created a database that includes all of this information. So this is searchable stuff. What's going to happen to that database? Whose hands is this going to lay in? Because we already know that people at the NSA are like sharing naked selfies of their targets' wives and saying like, oh, bingo, good, no, it's just naked, high five. All right, Bill, you win the round this week of the best naked selfie. So like, we know that this stuff is going on. We can't pretend that the people who have access to this information are these saints who aren't doing anything bad with it. They're doing everything bad with this.
Everything bad possible.
So like, do you want this data to go out there? If you don't, then just start making little changes in your life, because it is easy. I'm doing it. I'm not a tech-savvy person, but I'm learning this stuff, and it's been super easy to switch over. So. Nah.
So there's hope out there
for
the non-tech savvy who want to be more private.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, Naomi, thank you so much for your time.
Another
Very generous.
handshake. It's very professional.
Yeah.
Thank you very much
Big
for having
fan.
me.
Thank you very much.